Hello everyone, this is Tim with Paintball Tech. Got a rebuild video for you guys. This is the Planet Eclipse inline regulator. I believe this is probably the SL1 reg. Either way, it's the regulator that was on the 2008 generation Egos. So if you need a quick reference, other than this video, the schematics are laid out in the Ego 8 manual, available at planeteclipse.com on page 7. So you can see exactly how it goes together. So, anyway, this was the first year that they switched to a coil spring inside, which made it a little bit easier to do the disassembly and reassembly. So, without further ado, we'll start taking it apart. Just unscrew the bottom cap that has the swivel on it. And inside you will find the main piston and spring in the top half. Spring comes out like that. Piston, you can usually whack them on a desk, get it down to where you can pull out the piston. Now the top half is going to be empty after that. Then with the swivel on the base here, if you do have a macroline fitting installed, sometimes it will go deep enough so that the swivel cannot be removed. If you do have a leak around the swivel, you're going to have to remove the macroline fitting most of the time to take the swivel off to access these two O-rings underneath. And then the adjuster itself is housed inside here. Use a 1/8 inch Allen key and spin it clockwise to push it all the way up to the top and push it out. There's your adjuster screw. So everything all laid out will look, like that inside. So start replacing seals. I'm going to pull the number 15 off the top here. Replace that with either a 015 70 or 90 durometer, doesn't really matter. Set that aside. The piston itself, this one's kind of old and worn, so this is another number 15. Yep, it's cracked. So that is a 015 70 durometer. And then the reg seat in this is housed in the bottom of the piston here. These are usually non-replaceable. You can buy new pistons from Planet Eclipse or Planet Eclipse dealer as long as they're still available. Otherwise, the material is a polyurethane 90 duro. I want to say it's the same as some of their other seats, and it's a 4mm 1/16 inch thick stamped seal. I haven't replaced any of these personally, but I'm sure it wouldn't be too difficult to find the material, stamp a seal out, and glue a new seal on there if it came down to it. The grease for these is Planet Eclipse grease or Dow 33. So put a coating on the piston O-ring here. And then also on the thin side of the piston down here at the bottom, because that's going to seal against another O-ring in the bottom section. Once that's greased up, you can put that back into your housing, drop your spring in, set that aside. We're going to go ahead and go to the bottom section here, pull off the two O-rings that seal against the swivel. Those are both 16s, 016 seals. Go ahead and put those on in their grooves. Put a little bit of grease on them. It doesn't need a ton. Just enough to seal it and keep the rings moist. And put your swivel back on. Whoops. Put it on so the Eclipse is facing the right way, so it looks good. We're going to go ahead and pull the 2 rings off of the adjuster. These very, very rarely need to be changed, but for the sake and purpose of the video, I'm going to do these. These are 006s. Easiest way I've found is to put the top one on first and use a pick to pull that down to the second spot. That way you don't have to push the second ring over the first. Like that. They can be a little bit of a pain to get on because they're so tiny, but add some grease to those. There you go. Now, there is an O-ring inside here. This seals against the bottom of the piston. This is a number 10. It's right on this top edge. Use a pick to dig it out. Now, while that one's out, the easiest thing to do is to put the adjuster back in so it slides past that groove easily. Just push it down and use an 1/8 inch key to screw it all the way down to the bottom. And get rid of your old seals. I'm going to take the new number 10, fit it into the groove here. Use a pick, just kind of wiggle it into place where it's supposed to be. As long as it wants to cooperate. There it goes. And adds a little bit of grease on the top. Then you can use a pick or a key to, Allen key to kind of spread that grease around that seal there. Once that's all done, I'm going to screw the 2 halves back together. Now, if this reg is going back onto a Ego, 08 Ego, the factory setting is to put the screw all the way out, unscrewed all the way, and then back in between 3 and 4 turns. And that should be roughly set to, what the factory spec is for the pressure on these. So, obviously clean off any excess grease you have on the outside, and the reg is ready to go for your next application. There you have it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If not, have a good day, guys.